see a lot of familiar faces. I tell you, it's nice to kind of go down memory lane a little bit. It's hard being first because I'm kind of setting the tone, so I'm going to try not to go too long and get right to the point here. By the way, that was not an upset at West Liberty. We're MSU Denver, so we expect to win. I had to get that in. First and foremost, let me, on behalf of myself and Brandon, I want to make sure that I congratulate the inductees, Joan, Debbie, and Christy. I knew I was in the presence of greatness when you guys were around, and I was fortunate to have a front seat and watch you guys work. And couldn't be more proud of you guys, and your legacy continues to live on. And that's from BJ as well, too. So cheers to you guys. Let me start. It's kind of beginning, middle, and end. And again, I'm going to try and be brief, but I can't promise you that. So let's talk about Brandon Jefferson. So we got the job in June, and so it was a little bit late. We had one scholarship that we were able to offer, and you know, we needed a point guard. We were short one point guard on our roster, and as you guys know, June is a little bit late to recruit, but they're out there if you go find them. So I had a list of 5 guys from Texas in no particular order, regardless of what BJ says, because he says I ranked him number 5. I did not. Let me clear the air on that one right there. But we talked to people down in Texas, and we were just scouring the country just to find the right fit. And so we were working our way through the list, and so I talked to BJ and was very impressed, very great manners. And then I talked to his parents, and you understood that the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Rochelle and Brian proceeded to come on the visit with BJ. And so you guys know how visits go. You know, we do the campus tour, we talk to people within the community on campus, we eat, we see the gym, facilities, we eat, we do a lot of eating. And so every time we ate, Brandon Jefferson would have chicken tenders. And so, you know, chicken tenders every meal. And so this became a trend unbeknownst to me for about the next 2 or 3 years. That's why we would go to an Italian restaurant and chicken tenders, you know, so, you know, but it worked for him. He was a heck of a player, but it was very interesting. So I want to just talk about a couple key people, and this is about BJ, but no one gets here, you know, on their own. There's a lot of support that goes in the So when Rochelle and Brian Jefferson visited with BJ, and we spent, you know, 48 hours with them, it just felt like a very natural fit. Of course, I love BJ, but I wanted to sign his parents. If I had 2 more scholarships, I would sign him. But, you know, kudos to them because they raised an outstanding young man. The way he carried himself, he came here ready-made, good grades, knew how to deal with people. And so the transition in terms of that part of it, they built a very outstanding young man. And so it was in place before he got here. So I just want to acknowledge the parents just real quick, if you wouldn't mind putting your hands together. I talked to his high school coach, Coach Henry Thomas, and he summed it up when he talked about BJ. He said, Coach, he is a winner. And you know, unbeknownst to me, that was true, and he continues to do that as well too. So let me tell you one quick story, famous last words. So we're playing in the RMAC championship game against Fort Lewis. You saw the shot on the screen there, and so back and forth game. This was one of Coach Hoffman's better teams, and it was neither team could get separation, and so I think it was a 2-point game at halftime. So it gets down to the end, the crunch. We go up 1 with about 20 seconds left. Fort Lewis calls a timeout. And, you know, again, it was going to be whoever had the ball last was going to win the game. So we're in the huddle, and we're getting our defensive game plan together. And my big message was, let's stay just solid. We don't need to take any chances. Let's make them make a tough shot. And then I looked at Brandon Jefferson, because I know him. He loves to have his hand in the cookie jar, and he loves to gamble. And so we come out of the time, I said, BJ, solid, stay solid. He was guarding their best perimeter player. And so we come out of the timeout. We got to guard 20 seconds to win this game and put it away. They run a floppy action. BJ lunges for a steal, doesn't get it, the kid goes back door, gets a layup. We're down 1. And so he kind of looked over at me. We called a timeout, and of course I drew a great play. Not really. I gave the ball to BJ coming out of the timeout, and as you saw, it was over in that corner right there. He crossed over, he stepped back and made a tremendous move and made the shot. And I'm not telling you this story because he screwed up, but then he made it good. He had a tremendous belief in himself. He went for that steal because he really thought he was going to get the steal. And you have to love that about players, because it's always about players and them taking initiative on the floor. And so that was kind of the first seed of BJ just kind of taking the next step. And it was push and pull. It was tough. We gave him a lot of tough love. And so that was kind of the beginning. Now, I mentioned that shot because it was a tremendous shot that won an RMAC championship. But I think BJ, I know his best play to this point in his career, in his life, is about 3 months ago. He married a woman named Brittany, and she's in the crowd right there. Please give her a hand. Now, I've seen BJ after making big plays and we win games. I see a different look in his eye. When I watched him get married, I watched him interact, and also we have Kyson as well there too, their son. And so, those are the things that you remember. The games come and go, but you remember these guys that you came in as 18 years old, and then they're getting married, they're starting families. Those are the things that really matter. So, getting to BJ's senior year, and I'm wrapping it up here because this is the beginning, middle, end kind of deal, is he had a tremendous senior year. Numbers don't do it justice because we had a very good team. And BJ wanted me to acknowledge and thank all of the teammates that he had over the course of his 4 years, because he understood that his success, is tied into what they did on that floor as well to him. And very selfless guy, he understands that, takes himself out of the equation. Wanted me to personally thank Joan because he was in her office quite a bit over 4 years. And, I took him through the ringer a couple times, and so Joan was a savior on that. He wanted me to also thank Miss Elaine, and he would say it like that, Miss Elaine, but we matched Elaine up. But he wanted to make sure I did that. You were his mentor, and over the course of 4 years, I tell you what, you really moved him along as a young man. And so I can't be more proud of what BJ has become. He's 7 years pro, and that stuff is great, but he's a man of deep faith, and he would say, if he was sitting on this stage, thank God for the many blessings that he's had in his life. And so he would be the first to, thank the man above. And so, without further ado, it is my honor, my privilege, and I do this with great love, is to welcome BJ into the class of 2021, and Brittany will come up and accept on his behalf. Thank you.